G'day, welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be taking you through the steps it took to restore the chassis for the Tamiya Mitsubishi Pajero. Anyway, there wasn't much to it, it's pretty simple. Pretty much just replace half of the parts with Grasshopper parts. Anyhow, couldn't get another chassis itself, which was broken in quite a few places. So I just kind of fixed it up and yeah, basically glued up the front end there and glued some new side panels on the side. They'd been cut out for probably to put a 7.2 battery in there. And around this side there was a big cutout in here, so I fixed that up as well. So looking at the chassis, at the bits that I fixed, I just grabbed a bit of this black plastic off eBay. It's only thin stuff, and basically cut it all up to size and glued it on using a bit of JB weld. Fantastic. Anyway, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Looks pretty good to me. I actually put a little bit more in there than I needed just to make it stronger. Not even sure I'll use a battery up there, maybe I will. But my plan is I'll use something small like this and just probably just strap it across the center there like that or something. But yeah, it can go up the back as well, maybe that way around. Strap it in the back there, whatever. Or you can get you know, more rectangle shaped lipos that'll fit in there nicely. Anyway, that's not really important. I'm not after huge runtime and stuff with it, so that little battery will be fine. It's only a 2200 milliamp. You'll probably get 10 or 15 minutes out of it. That's good enough for me. Now, as you can see on the front, that's all glued up there, and I made a little piece so I can slip it down the front and glue that on too, just for a little bit more support. As you can see, it had a crack along the front there. It had been glued before, so I thought I'd fix that and stop it breaking right off. I may even put a little bit more bit of plastic under the front there, glue that on too with the JB weld. Good stuff, that. And same thing on the side here, just made a little piece out of the black plastic and bent it over at the top and glued it in using the JB weld. So after the chassis was all glued up, it was time to get onto the all the chassis parts. Now looking at the gearbox, as you can see, it's got a broken piece in there. So later on I come and I glued that bit in with a bit of epoxy. So I've got the gearbox here. We can still use it. I'll put it on something else, some other little project, I guess. Probably won't be a Grasshopper, but something, maybe a custom chassis type setup. So I've got a long threaded rod going through the center there with a nut on each end just to hold it together. Make sure it won't come apart. I think it's alright, still in good condition. So I've put bearings and stuff in it, of course. So that's good to go for something else. One thing I wish I could have replaced was the tyres that came on it. As you can see, they're quite large and beefy. Now I did Google them. Problem is they're split. I did Google them and I came up with an answer, but I can't remember what brand they are. But they're no longer made and can't get them. So anyway, I just put the Brett tyres on. But as you can see, they're quite a bit wider and a little bit taller. But yeah, I think they just look much better on this. It's kind of a shame we can't get them now. And as you can see here, I've put the Grasshopper shocks together and straight into the gearbox, and got some front suspension set up from the Grasshopper. And there's our gearbox and rear suspension all fitted up. Got the wheelie bar on there, motors in it, all looking good. Now if you saw one of my previous videos, you'll see the where I was showing this off, you know, what I was going to do with it and all that. So I stripped it down for that video, and yeah, there it is, all stripped apart. And that's kind of when I noticed I could use a lot of Grasshopper parts. So I grabbed my Grasshopper stash of bits and got into it. So then it was time to fit up the tyres to the wheels. So I've just used re-release Brat wheels and tyres, of course. And then I thought it might be nice to do the lettering. So yeah, did the fitted the tyres up and then did the lettering. Beautiful. Now I didn't have the on the Grasshoppers and these Pajeros, you've got to have a bit bit of black tubing in there just to stop it bottoming out, like a bump stop. Yeah, I didn't have any black, so I used some nice fluoro green. I think that looks quite sexual. Then after that, it was all in one piece, so then I could get onto the electrics. So I used the electrics that came with it. It's an old JR servo in the front, and the BD ESC S10E RTR ESC there. It works, I've tried it all, so it's all good. Then I put an orange, what is it, a GR400S receiver in there, so I can use my Futaba radio with that. So, carnage. So I'll just use my Futaba 2HR. Nice retro feel with the sticks and all that. So I'll have a quick look at the electrics. So I'll replace the motor wires, keep it all neat, and made them as short as possible. And got the ESC and receiver in there, tidied them up as best I could. And a Dean's connector on the ESC, of course. And for the servo, we've still got the old JR servo in there, and the standard servo saver that came with it. Now for the switch on the ESC was a little bit too small, so I put a bigger one on it, just so it fits better. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the chassis. It was all very simple. Yeah, the body wasn't so simple, so that's why it's not finished. I'm actually waiting for decals from MCI. They've posted them out a few weeks ago, but still waiting because our postal system's gone to pot. Anyway, got the body painted and stuff, and I'm starting to work on the back there, doing the details. So we've got the box on there. Then I've got to do the jerry can and all that stuff. So that's coming, but just taking me time with that. Painted all the bits. Got the roll bar painted there, nice matte black. Spare wheel, and they're up here. It's 2 sets. Got our lights to go up on the roll bar there. So we go up there something like that. Fantastic. And painted around the bottoms and stuff too. So that'll be all good. Anyway, I'll get that stuff out of the way for now. So back to our chassis. I've left the Sport Tune motor in it that it came with. So I think it might be a little bit too much for it. But yeah, it'll be fun. And yeah, I'm thinking with the battery down the front here, or it's a little bit tight. Yeah, it won't wheelie so much. I mean, wheelies are fun unless it happens all the time and you can't actually drive it. So yeah, got the standard wheelie bar on the back, of course. Got a new wheel on there, very nice. And that's about it. So the chassis is ready for action, just waiting on the body. Well, that's about it for this video. Hope you got something from it. Hope it was helpful in some way. Maybe, gluing up your chassis. Anyway, if you're new here, subscribe, that'd be awesome. Leave a thumb up if you liked the video, and catch you next time.